gonna kill you. Not today, not tomorrow, but I'm gonna kill you.
This is KCFE Ferguson, 89.5 The Wave.
Everything's his, or will be.
And this is Dead Air.
Welcome to a brand new beginning.
You need to cook it, Rich.
For what?
To fight him.
That's right, you are listening to Dead Air here on 89.5 The Wave. I'm your host, your friendly neighborhood DJ, JazzHandss, here to talk about last Sunday's episode of The Walking Dead, titled The First Day of the Rest of Your Life. And it was a 90-minute season finale, so it was fantastic. And of course, I'm joined here with Paul and Anna May to talk about, like I said, last Sunday's Walking Dead. So how's it going, guys? What a finale.
Agreed.
Am I right?
I thought it was phenomenal.
I mean, okay, so, because there's a lot to go over. We got lots of spoiler warnings, are abound. But, I mean, what do you think about this finale compared to last finale? Because a lot of people with Season 7 really had a problem with, or Season 6 finale, I should say, really had a problem with the finale itself, with that huge cliffhanger of who died. So, do you think this finale kind of made up for that? And do you think that the season was worth that wait from Season 6?
I wouldn't say it made up for it, but it was better that we saw who died. We saw the big reveal. They didn't just leave us on who was in that casket and just say, oh, we're done. It's like, no. Okay, they did show us. I thought that I knew how long the episode was going to go, but I was glad they didn't just leave us on that, because that would have made everybody extremely mad.
Yeah, I don't think that they could come back from two cliffhangers in a row, especially with a 90-minute finale.
They left us with enough of a cliffhanger that it was like, okay, now I want to see what happens next season, but not so much of a cliffhanger that we're going, come on, really? You're not going to tell us what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been like if they had ended it right as, the bombs weren't going off.
Yeah, it was almost, I would say, because it's weird, but it was almost a happy ending for the season in certain regards, like the beautiful speech that Maggie gave about
Which doesn't
Glenn.
happen very
No,
often.
it doesn't.
No. I think the only other time it happened was Season 3's finale, where everybody came together from Woodbury into the prison.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think that's the only time we actually got, like, a good happy ending. And so with this, it was a happy ending. And we got that beautiful speech from Maggie about Glenn, how they were just normal people in the streets and now they're family, and really shows the togetherness that even when they're separated, like Maggie and the kingdom, that they're still family, they're still together. And I absolutely loved it. But of course, with every season finale, we have to lose somebody important. And this time we lost Sasha. Mm-hmm. And she went out in one of the most badass ways possible. Like, I think Negan was definitely impressed.
Like she was sporting beach ball size something or another's.
I love that. Okay,
we can't necessarily say it on air.
No. But I will quote that for till the day I die. I want that on a shirt.
So did Chris Hardwick's mom.
Yeah, actually, Chris Hardwick's mom wants that on a T-shirt.
Oh, good for her.
Actually,
Good
I think
for
it was
her.
made.
Good for her. But yeah, I mean, so we got to talk about Sasha. What were your guys' thoughts? One, about how she died, the heroism that she took, and just her overall character arc throughout the entire series. I mean, I know that there's a lot, but Anna, what do you think?
Well, I've always loved Sasha, even since the beginning. Even when she was a little kind of clinging to Tyrese, but she became her own character, especially after Tyrese passed, which I want to bring up something real quick about that, is Tyrese and Sasha both ended up dying seeing the ones they loved at the very end. Unfortunately, Tyrese saw Beth and Lizzie and Mika, but that's a different story for another day.
Well, I mean, he also saw the governor, though, too.
Well, but on the car ride, he was leaving with Beth and Lizzie and Mika. They were going. They were going to heaven.
I'll give you that one.
They were going to the afterlife. And Sasha thought we got to see what happened with her and Abraham before the night when Abraham was killed. I thought that was really cool because they both ended up having similar deaths in that case, that they saw the ones they loved as they were dying.
And I will say this, because, and it's just super quick, because we got to see what happened, like maybe like an hour before they went on that road trip. It kind of and what Abraham said to Sasha about, you know, oh, we need to, you know, we're kicking and eating snakes. You know, we stick up for people. Our death has meaning. It makes his death even more meaningful. The fact that he knew the risks of putting his life on the line for Maggie, for her baby, for the future.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it makes his death even more powerful. So it's like, ugh, good way. You know, even though, because I hate to say it, because it happened with Glenn's death, it kind of overshadowed Abraham's just a little bit. It's still. I miss the big guy. I miss the big guy.
I miss the quotes. I mean,
oh my gosh,
Negan's getting there, but he doesn't have quite as much of a flair as Abraham did.
No. I want a calendar which each day has a new Abraham quote.
365 days of Abraham Ford.
Yeah, a new quote to say each day. But so Paul, what were your thoughts on Sasha and her whole character development?
You know, I almost saw this coming in last week's episode.
Yeah.
When, you know, because you could tell Sasha was going, come on, Eugene, give me a knife or a piece of glass or something so that I could end myself, and thinking, yeah, that's what I'm telling you. I'm going to stab you in the head the minute you duck in here next time, and I'm going to kill Negan. And
That's
he's
what I
not going
thought,
to know
too.
about it. And he slipped her the pill, and when I saw her cry and then just kind of, okay. She knew at that point, I think, that she was going to turn herself into a weapon against Negan.
Yeah.
Without him knowing.
She was going to become the knife she wanted.
Yeah, it was the only option that she had, and I also kind of like it was so weird. And I talked about this a little bit last week by myself, but it was one of those things where I feel that like one, she knew that there was no other options. She had to do what she had to do to get the mission. Like I said, what she took from Abraham was we get the mission done.
Yes,
Yeah.
No matter the cost, we get the mission done. And so if that costs her life, I don't want to say manipulation of Eugene, but you know she manipulated him just a little
Oh
bit.
no,
to
she
get some-
totally manipulated Eugene.
And that's where, like, because we can go definitely in depth with it, and I don't want to like drag too long into it, but like that's kind of where like I feel Eugene's why I feel like he's a part of the Saviors so much more easily than some of the other people, because it's like you got one group that's treating him pretty good for doing what he's doing, and you got another group where I think even he sees it because he's a smart guy. People manipulate him a little bit. I mean, granted, he manipulated them, but he's still been trying, and sometimes they'll give him some stuff, but then, like, Rosita will bash him down and stuff, so it's like, I see why. You know?
I don't think Eugene's as much as he is. Negan is strong, and he's going to keep Eugene safe.
Yes.
Whereas Rick's group, there's going to be a lot more risk, even if,
Yes.
you know, Eugene isn't actually out, like on a mission or anything. Even if he's staying back in Alexandria, there's risk.
Yes.
Negan, he doesn't see that much risk because, well, except at the end.
Yeah.
Because, you know, do you know how that may have happened? Well, you know, maybe with the tarp on and the seals, she may have just run out of oxygen. It's something I hadn't considered.
He had to have...
Maybe.
Yeah.
Eugene had to have, like, either known something like that was going to happen, or he had to have been like, okay, if she happens to die, this is going to be my cover story.
Yes.
Like, because he's a smart guy. He's I'm sure he's thinking, like, 12 moves ahead that he doesn't need to do.
He's the smartest mullet I've ever seen.
Exactly. Exactly.
But, you know, I mean, he's relatively safe, although I think it was almost pee-pee pants city for him when Negan was like, well, how do you suppose she could have died in there? Because you could tell Negan was looking at Eugene like, did you do something?
Yeah.
You little stinker, what'd you do? Yeah. Oh, my God. I love
And
Negan.
Eugene has already seen firsthand what happens to people who do things that kind of cross Negan up.
Yep.
They get fired, literally.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, Eugene's story arc, it's definitely interesting, and it's come kind of like a long way, and I'm interested. But we still need to talk a little bit about Sasha, and because we've been talking about Negan and Sasha, I want to know, Anna, what do you think? What do you think was such the fascination that Negan had with Sasha? Like, why do you think he was so infatuated and so interested in her?
I think she was one. I know he's got women underneath him that work as kind of some of his higher ups as his minions, but I think there was a special kind of spark in Sasha that he saw that, okay, she's a warrior. She's been through a lot of stuff. And she knows how to either get herself out or do stuff, and she's not willing to back down to me. Because most women, you know, he's got well, not a whole harem. He's got a couple of women under him that, you know, does what he wants. But he's like, no, I want to use you because you're going to be a soldier to me. You're not going to be, you know, someone I'm just going to have, you know, fun times with when I want. It's, we're going to use you because you can be of... not use as same to Eugene, but more of a use like to Daryl as like a soldier, somebody who he can use to, as he even said it to her. It's like, I want you to work for me in the higher ups. I want to have you in that. I don't want you to be a lowly minion. I want to have you as somebody I can trust and put my trust in. I will still control you, but you'll have a lot more freedom than you would if you were with the Alexandrians. And Sasha's like, nope, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. My people, not you. Bye-bye.
I also think it has to do with, and I think you guys will kind of agree, that Negan kind of likes to be challenged at this point with power. Whenever he says, like, you know, if he says bow, they bow. You know, if he walks into a room,
to a point.
They bow. And so Sasha planned to go in to kill. Yeah. She caused a ruckus. He took interest in that. And then when he figured out that, oh, you're one of Rick's people, and you're still causing me trouble after everything I did. I respect that a little bit. I like to be challenged. Like, you know, he likes that. He likes when somebody kind of comes and challenges him, and he likes to try to break people down that way because it's kind of, I don't want to say like a game, but it's like more fun for him.
I also like the little bargaining that they did between, you know, look, nobody has to die. Oh yeah, they do. I'm thinking 3, and she's like 1, one person.
Paul, what I want to know is, there was a moment when Negan was actually talking to Sasha, and he's like, you know, hey, I'm sorry that this has to happen.
The happy face breakfast scene?
Not the happy face breakfast scene, the scene right before before she gets in the coffin, and he's like, you know, you don't have to get in the coffin. Like, do you think Negan was genuinely being sincere? Because, like, there's moments where Negan's Negan, it's this persona, and then there's moments where seems actually more relatable. And do you think he was being sincere with Sasha?
I do. I think he was being sincere with Sasha because he saw her as his equal, sort of. Still beneath him, but more equal than a lot of other people. Like, I don't think he would have talked to Arat that way.
No.
Because he doesn't respect Arat the way he does Sasha. But he had some respect for Sasha due to her beach ball sized everything.
Love it.
Yeah, that's just, and she did. Maybe even bigger than beach ball sized. I mean, they may be, you know, weather balloon sized at this point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Love her. We're gonna miss you. We're gonna miss you.
Sasha's definitely gonna be missed, and it's one of those you almost saw it coming if you knew anything about Sonequa Martin Green and the fact that she was already slated and heavily rumored to be cast on Star Trek Discovery.
Yes.
Okay.
And so it's kind of like, okay, she's going to have trouble filming that and Walking Dead.
Unless she's dead.
I might have to pick up Star Trek. I'm not normally a big Star Trek, but because she's going to be in it, and I love to, and I even said this to my brother, like, with Michael Cutlitz, I really hope he gets other work. Like, and how we have John Berthaw as, like, the Punisher. I really love to watch
the Walking Dead alum.
Yeah, they get to see
afterward.
Yeah, get to see like our friends, you know, our enemies that we've kind of grown with over these past 7 years in other stuff. Where it's like, okay, well, I get to still see them every week, or I get to still see these characters come back and enjoy them in different kind of forms. So I love to see the actors doing different stuff. So, you know, what I want to know too, Anna, is what was the significance of the flashback that her and Maggie had after the storm? Because that was after the storm, correct? It wasn't right after the grave. It was right after the tornado hit in season, what was it, 4?
I think it was 4. It was just before they went to Alexandria, so I think it was 4 or 5.
Yeah, because they got to Alexandria
5.
in part
5.
It was
B
5.
of 4. 5?
5. Because they started 5 at Terminus. Got rid of...
Yes, you're right.
So it was
you're right.
5.
You're right, yeah. So, part 5. What do you think the significance was for the flashbacks with Maggie just kind of looking over the sunset?
I think that was another thought that Sasha kind of had. She was obviously thinking of Abraham before, but she thought of Maggie as, I think, like a sister. She could relate to her. The two, you know, she became Maggie's guardian while she was at Hilltop. It's like, I'm not going to let anyone hurt you or the baby, or they will get it. It was just, this moment was we have this peace, we have this togetherness. It's just the two of us just kind of relaxing in nature. And for once, nothing's going wrong. We just got through this just giant storm, and we can just kind of relax and just kind of let go of, thinking of the world as an apocalypse. Just the two of us just kind of hanging here and, just breathing in the nature.
Yeah.
So it was a peaceful moment.
I agree. What do you think, Paul?
I think she was using that as sort of an allegory for her death. This is... Because you notice that was later on as she was dying.
Yeah.
As she was, as she was getting closer to the point where she was going to slip away and die and then turn.
Yeah.
That was her saying, okay, I've made peace with this. This is my peace. This is my last memory. I've been having memories of the people I love. I've been having thoughts of the people I cared about. And this is a peaceful moment with Maggie that I'm going to remember, and I'm going to do something to keep that promise and to keep her safe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Mm-hmm. There it is.
Yeah.
And it is so totally appropriate.
Completely.
That was one of her last memories before she passed, was that peaceful time with her and Maggie. The storm had passed.
Yes.
The storm being, okay, I've been captured, I'm being used by Negan. That's over. He won't use me anymore. As a matter of fact, he may regret using me.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the symbolism I see in that one. Is,
and it kind of, like, for me, because I'm thinking about it, and it kind of goes, like, back and forth where you have, in one aspect, Sasha at that moment in time kind of asking, because I think, I need to rewatch it a third time, or fourth, but I need to see again, because I think she asks the question to Meg, what are we here for? And then I think it cut to some more of the episode, and then I think when it cut back, it was with Cutlets, and I think he answered, we're here to protect people, no matter what, So I think those scenes kind of play out of, and almost I would say maybe the two most important people in Sasha's life at that moment in time, because unfortunately Bob passed away.
Yeah.
Infected meat. Love that line. Or tainted meat.
Tainted meat.
Yep.
And then we had, her brother pass away too, and honestly, we didn't, because I didn't really see this relationship kind of forming between Maggie and Sasha. But over the time, the two, like, when you really think back to it, the two really became close friends and were there for each other quite a lot.
Even on the road at the end of season 4, before they got to Terminus, it was Sasha, Maggie, and Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
once you
I think
about
that
it,
really cemented that friendship.
Yeah, and it's like once when you think about it, like, they have gone through a lot. Like, Sasha kind of put up with Maggie constantly looking for Glenn,
Yeah.
going a little bit off the deep end. And so it's this really, really nice kind of culminating friendship that built between these two women. And so I think at the end when you see Maggie kind of start crying, and I think it's very appropriate that she's the one, like, this relationship we didn't know was there, and it was, of course, like I said, Paul had to leave, he had to step out, but we're actually going to talk a lot about spend a couple minutes on, I feel we need to, Morgan's kind of character development within this little episode, as well as Carol's, because, for you, how important do you think it was that Morgan, that Ezekiel told Morgan, you're not stuck?
I think very important, because the last time we saw Morgan in a state like this was, I believe, Clear, and he was not quite in his right state of mind at that point, because he'd lost his son, and in this case, he'd lost another son. He lost Benjamin, who he was getting close to, and he had Benjamin's armor on him, and he had the carts, which I was like, oh, Richard's dead. What? Okay, nope, that's not Richard. Okay, he didn't come back from the grave. Okay, I think it was good that he had somebody to tell him that, especially Ezekiel, in that moment, because if he'd been left alone like he had been in Clear, I don't know if we would have gotten him back this time.
Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of shows, definitely kind of, it nails home a lot of what Maggie's speech had at the end of the episode, that when you're kind of by yourself in this world, there's nobody to bring you back from that crucial edge of, I just want to kill them all. Mm-hmm. They hurt this person, that's mine, I have nobody left, I want to kill them all. And so it's this bringing back, and I think Maggie's kind of last speech about, you know, them kind of becoming a family, rings true, and I strongly believe that Ezekiel telling Morgan he's not stuck. You don't have to be stuck in this position of either kill them all or kill nobody. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be like that. You can fight for what's right and what you believe in, but you have to come back from this point. And I think everybody's been saying that, and that's the one kind of problem with like Morgan that I have, is that he's either all in with everything one way or the other. There's never just dip in this way. I thought we were kind of getting that moment with when he killed for Carol. It's the one kind of character flaw that I have with him, but I really think King Ezekiel bringing him back, as well as Carol.
Agreed.
The little moment with them sitting at the end, it was just kind of like this understanding of them on equal footing now, or equal steps. They'll be that opposite person when Carol wants to go and kill somebody, like because they're messed up or something, or she has to be the one woman army again. Morgan will bring her back. Like, no, you don't have to do that. Mm-hmm. You don't have to do that, and vice versa. You know, I think these two, everything that was leading up to them, kind of culminated in this this moment in this battle, and I really did enjoy it too. Because okay, look, we're getting closer to the battle, and I gotta talk. We gotta talk about it. The oh-so betrayal.
Ah, yes. The oh-so betrayal by the garbage pail kids.
Yep, the trash men, the trash people.
The scavengers, the heapsters,
yep,
whatever you want to call them.
Discussing with, what's her name?
Jadis?
Jadis? Okay, I got it mixed up earlier, and I called her Judas, which is not far off.
Actually, it's not.
I think, honestly, they did that on purpose. That has to be like, okay, we're going to name her Jadis, but... You know what?
She's going to be betraying Rick. So.
Yeah, it was right in front of us the whole time.
Yeah.
Right in front of us. So, I mean, what were your thoughts on the betrayal? I mean, did you see it kind of coming? Like, or were you like, it got me, but you know what? That makes sense.
I kind of had something in the back of my mind saying, you know, if a better deal comes along, like if Negan's people, if the Saviors end up finding the scavengers and go, hey, you want to help us? Like, the scavengers are only looking out for themselves. They're not really looking out for the Alexandrians or the Saviors. It's like, whatever's good for us, we'll do it. So it's like, I admit Negan probably does have a better bargaining tool with all the stuff that he has. Like, okay, we'll give you this stuff, and in turn, you slip us some information.
Yeah, well, and I also think it's because Jadis has this weird thing for power.
She does.
Like... With Rick, she was kind of testing him, and kind of like with every moment. And I said this earlier in the season, that like when you look at her, she always kind of looks like she's having fun when she's debating with Rick, seeing how far she can push it.
She's playing with him.
Yeah, she's definitely playing with him. With Negan, I never got that. It was when she said, "Give us 12," and he goes, "No, 10." And she's like, "No, 12," and he's like, "Yeah, no, 10." She's like, "Okay, you win." Like she has this weird thing for power, and like, she's just such a really kind of, and I do love her, but she's just like a weird, interesting character. How she's just like, can I sleep with Rick after?
Oh my gosh,
the battle
right in front of Michonne.
You know what? And honestly, maybe if that happened, they would have kept on their side. But that was, not sleeping with when Rick said no. That was the driving force for her. She's like, okay, well, you know what? We are going to betray these people.
Oh my gosh, I hadn't thought of that.
But now what I want to know is, why do you think Rick didn't back down as much as he did in the first episode? Like, it clearly looked like the circumstances were much, much, much more dire this time around than before. I mean, granted, they lost 2 good men, but this was their entire city was battling. And the circumstances seemed horrible. Why do you think he still was like... Or what do you think, like, even before? Like, because he was up in Negan's face, like, you were, I said I'm going to kill you. Why do you think that was?
I think that Rick is seeing that he can stand up to Negan, that Negan is a threat, but it's like, you're in my territory right now. We're not in the middle of nowhere where I can't fight back. These are my people fighting for our home. And whether it seems bad or not, we will fight you. And he probably had an idea that Hilltop was probably going to be on their way. He probably didn't see the kingdom coming, but it's like, okay, if I can stall just long enough, if I can show him that I'm not going to back down this time, then it might be like, okay, well, clearly I still have to get the point across and point that is barbed wire in your son's head. Mm-hmm. But I think he just saw this time that this is my turf, and I'm not going to back down. I'm not going to show these people who are fighting for our home that I will back down to you.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of that and kind of what Carl said, because Carl, even when he was back up against the wall, Carl said, you know, you're not going to win,
Mm-hmm.
and Negan's like, oh no, son, we've won. And I think that kind of also reflects within Rick a little bit, where it's like, okay, my son's not backing down. You know what? I'm not going to either. Real quick, the scene where Michonne's fighting up on top of the tower.
Yeah.
First off, awesome fight scene. You know,
Amazing.
that woman that Michonne was fighting, I mean, you have to have a lot of...
balls.
You know, yeah, you know, what Negan said for Sasha to take on Michonne.
Yep.
But, okay, there was a moment, like, when she fell off, or when we thought she fell off, and we hear Negan like, oh, somebody you cared about just died.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and even then Rick didn't back down, which I absolutely loved. You know, that was the Rick I like. Yeah, that never came across to me that was Michonne.
No, neither to me either.
Like, you see when they slowed it down, you could see it falling off the tower. You could see somebody falling off the tower. But when I heard the scream, I never associated that with Michonne.
No.
I knew she was going to be okay.
Yeah, but I think in that moment, Rick and Carl both. It's like Rick lost his love, and Carl thought he lost like a mother. Mm-hmm. So at that point, Rick's like, okay, if I'm losing my son, I've already lost my love. That's it. Okay, I'm gonna fight back. I have nothing else to lose now. You've taken what it's like you're fighting my family, but you've taken my love and you're going to take my son away from me. That's it. I'm not gonna back down at this point.
Now, okay, look, we gotta talk about the fight.
Yes,
we have to talk about the fight.
We do.
What an awesome fight!
Shiva
comes in out of nowhere.
That was awesome.
And saves him. The only thing I will say, because everybody's been saying this, is just like, and I even said that when it was happening, I'm like, how does Shiva know who the bad guys are? You're letting a tiger, a tiger, out amongst people with other guns. First off,
maybe
Ezekiel has to have a lot of trust in Shiva to be like, hey, we're taking her into battle, but we're going to calm her down enough afterwards not to go after every single human being. Because, you know, you get into that red zone for a tiger, you're just going for it. You know, so that was the only thing. And people were like, well, maybe Ezekiel's, you know, like telling her to attack this person off screen, or you know, he feels this one way towards these people, so Shiva's kind of going for him. But even then, it's like, you don't know who's the bad guys and who are your allies. Yeah, so that was the one kind of problem that I have with the fight. But other than that, beautiful fight scene.
Amazing.
I loved, I especially loved the moment when they're kind of pushing the Saviors back, and you just see everybody on horseback kind of running, and you're seeing like, and it was just this really cool moment where it's like, everybody's running down the street to like chasing Negan.
Oh yeah, after the truck.
Yeah, I loved that scene, and it was really cool to see. And it's just like the weirdest thing, because it's like all these stories are finally coming together, and I love it. I don't want to say it's like the Marvel movies when we see them together, but like it kind of was for me at certain moments. When,
I can see that.
When we see like Aaron go for the gate, and he's like grabbing it, and he's trying to pull it open, and then Jerry comes up next to him and is pulling it, and then we get somebody from the hilltop. I think it was Jesus or something.
Yeah.
It's like these stories that kind of interjected, and these characters that we like are now together.
Yeah.
You know, also Aaron looks totally badass with a beard. He looks fantastic. He looks fantastic with a beard. But yeah, it was just this really cool combination of these characters coming together and fighting this really epic battle.
I mean, you mentioned a lot of them, but one part I definitely have to mention is Morgan.
Yes.
When he came in, you know, he had his gun and he was shooting it, but it's like, nope. Brings out the stick and starts whacking people and killing them that way. It's like, there's the Morgan we know. Okay. It's like, gun really doesn't fit you. The staff. And I did love when we had, you know, when we had Ezekiel's battle cry. That was cool. And then when it's
best part, yeah.
Best, awesome.
I want that as a ringtone. So beautiful.
But it was cool that we got to see both the Kingdom and the Hilltop run in at about the same time. It's like, there's Ezekiel and there's Maggie. Maggie, why are you out here? But go Maggie.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, okay, here's Maggie. She's fighting, and they were all in the battle mode. It was fantastic battle, and I think it like I said, it was everything that was culminating into throughout the season into one moment. And
beautiful.
I don't want to say that the season as a whole was boring. There were a lot of fun moments that were kind of going in it, but it was definitely a lot. It was a slower season.
Yeah.
Compared to some of the others, and I think this last battle drove it home.
Yes.
And that's what we needed for this fight. And to kind of like wrap up everything that needed to be wrapped up, and it was beautiful. And it's like Carrie Payton, who plays King Ezekiel. I believe I say his name right. If not,
I think you do.
So sorry. He said, every actor needs to have a moment like this. And the only other cliffhanger that I have is, what the hell happened to Heath?
Yes! Oh my gosh! I didn't know if anyone was going to bring that up. Oh my gosh, we have not seen, like...
He was in the episode
Heath?
with Tara, and then he's I think, was he only in like 1 or 2 episodes this entire season?
I think so. He wasn't around a lot.
No, unless the actor's been doing other stuff where it's like he has another contract, and so they kind of have to push him away or hope we'll forget about him. Like, what the hell happened to that guy?
I know. I'm like, is Heath going to come in with Hilltop or the Kingdom? It's like, helping to lead the charge. No, he's not here. Okay. Where is he?
But yeah, I don't know what happened with him. He just like disappeared, and nobody mentioned him again. And it's just confusing. Like, that's the only downside that I would say, is that, like, what the hell happened to him? Predictions for the season 8 finale and the 100th episode of The Walking Dead.
My goodness, how time has flown.
I know. I can't believe it's been 7 years.
I can't believe it either.
7 years going on 8.
Yeah.
So what are some of your predictions that you see happening? I mean, besides All Out War, I think everybody knows that's coming.
Yeah, that's at this point, that's all I can really figure is we saw at the very end of this episode that the Saviors are getting ready, and there's a lot of them to fight against the newly formed I guess Trifecta Alliance.
The Triforce of Power.
Yes, the Triforce. I wanted to bring that up. Just friggin' Triforce, because Maggie's like Zelda. She's got the wisdom. Rick, I would probably say, is courage, and then you've got Ezekiel, who's power.
I would almost say
you flip those two.
I would kind of flip those two, because Rick's very powerful in the sense that, like, his tiny group and whichever people he's gotten, he's just been like this small group that can take out mass people, by themselves, like how they did with the run at the Savior compound.
That's true.
And courage is Ezekiel, because even though he had to put his courage out there to allow people to battle, because he didn't want any part of the battle. He just wanted to do this, and it's taking courage for him to say Alexandria will not fall.
Okay, I can do that.
And he's friends with a tiger. So
I'm sorry, that's why I said power, because frigging tiger.
Yeah, it takes courage to be friends with a tiger too. So totally different nerdom.
Totally different. But hey, we're all nerds here. So.
Yeah, exactly. So any other predictions, and possibly the 100th episode?
Oh, 100th episode. I mean, if they do what they did at the beginning of this season, which is kill somebody, I mean, you were thinking they were going to kill somebody. I don't think that. I think they would probably wait until either mid-season or the season finale to kill a important person. But I just see them getting ready for war, although knowing that it'll be like, okay, we have an episode of we're just going to relax and show off some character development, and there's not going to be any mention of the war. Excuse me, no. We want the war. Show us them getting ready for the war.
See, and because for me, prediction wise, it can go a numerous different ways. We could have like the slower episodes where they don't mention war, and we're kind of building up character development a little bit more, or it could be within a matter of 20 to 30 to 40 minutes, or the next day, Negan comes back with his army and either takes over Alexandria or wipes a whole bunch of people out. So there's that unknown that could possibly happen. I think that within this season we might get a little bit more world building. We might get maybe a couple more civilizations to join up. Definitely Oceanside's going to join them. They're coming. Okay, there's we took their guns. They are on their way, and I think we're going to possibly get maybe a couple more civilizations to join up with them. Maybe a couple other stuff, but I think we're definitely gearing up. I think we'll get into the actual maybe. Because it's hard to say. I could see the first episode. I could see the first battle being at the mid-season finale, then we have like the second battle. Like theoretically, this war could last like 2 seasons.
It could.
I don't think it will. I think they'll maybe wrap it up within the next season, but they could make this war last at least 2 seasons and really, really. I don't want to say drag it out, but drag it out in a good way. Mm-hmm. That makes it fun and entertaining and interesting. I do think, however, we are going to get a major death in that 100th episode. just because with everything within the comics, the Negan scene where he kills Glenn, and he not in the comics, but he killed Abraham in the show. He didn't kill Abraham in the comics, but that was the 100th issue.
Yeah.
I think Walking Dead likes to do stuff for 100s.
Most shows do.
Yeah, most shows do. So I could possibly see us losing not just a major character, but a fan favorite character. So Carol or Daryl are possibly on the chopping block.
Yeah.
And then I could possibly even see Morgan dying, because I know in the comics he died in All Out War fighting. He fought so hard that he died on he just died from battle.
Oh. Maybe.
So I could see that happening, maybe mid-season finale, but I think we're gonna get a major death. And it's the one thing that I will say I do have a problem with the show just a little bit, is in the past major characters would die like that. We would never know. I think Lori died. Granted we were, but it meant something.
Yeah.
T-Dog died, I think, the exact same episode.
Yeah, I think so.
And that was 3 episodes into season 7 or season 3.
Yeah,
and
season
so
3.
I do kind of miss, because it's becoming a formula of first episode somebody dies, nothing too much except maybe a major character. Mid-season finale somebody dies, and then season finale somebody dies.
Yeah.
So it's no, I want go back to the randomness. I want to be surprised.
Yeah, agreed.
I want all of a sudden to be oh, Morgan died episode 3, hypothetically. I don't want Morgan to die. I love, even though I say, I want these characters to die, I love every character. Don't die.
Please don't.
Especially Jerry. Don't die.
Well,
I love you, Jerry. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for us.
I think so too.
So, any final thoughts?
I'm looking forward to this war we're definitely going to get with our Triforce and Saviors, and I would rather not have a lot of main characters that I like die, but unfortunately it's probably going to happen. Mm-hmm. I wish and I hope that maybe Shiva gets to take a bite out of Negan's leg, but that's just me, and probably a lot of other people, and I can't wait to see what Season 8 holds.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think for war, we're going to have to lose some major characters to really show the full weight.
I don't want to, but
this
we
is what
probably
happens
will.
when you go to war. Yeah, I agree. Thanks everybody so much for tuning in. It's been a blast, and we will see you in October.
Oh my goodness, we'll miss you guys.
Yeah, we're gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss this. I'm gonna miss talking about this. But thanks everybody. It's been a blast. We'll see you next time.
Bye.